Hi guys, and welcome back again to the TechTech YouTube channel. Today we're going to do an unboxing and take a closer look of the BitFenix brand new case model that goes by the name of Neos. From outside of the box, on few spots you can see the big BitFenix logo as well as the name of the case. Furthermore, we came across some basic specification for the case as well as some detailed graphical representation of the case and its features. One side of the box reveals that we got a regular full panel version of the case without the window, as well as the color stickers on that same side, which are indicating our chosen color scheme for this particular model, the popular black and red combination. Let's open up the box and see the Neos up close and personal. As with every case opening, anticipation rises as you are trying to pull it out of the box. BitFenix did a really good job packing the case up with a decent amount of hard foam. And here it is, finally, the unpacked BitFenix Neos. Once out of the box, just as it was written on it, from the outside you can see that we got the black model with the front red mesh. But have no fear, this is not the only color combination that BitFenix has to offer. As you can see, there are plenty of models to choose from, and you can, as shown here, look them up on their website at bitfenix.com. The design of the case is very simple and straightforward. As you can see from its size and the top of it, there are no special designer keys or ventilation holes, just plain flat surfaces. On the top front of the case you can find the standard set of features like the power and reset buttons, as well as a single USB 2 and a single USB 3 port and the audio in and audio out 3.5mm jacks. Taking the side panel off the case is pretty easy and straightforward since they are held in place by the rubberized thumb screws on both ends. After pulling the screws down, the side panel easily goes sideways and typically unlatches from the frame, so we can take a closer look of the case from within. But before we do that, we're going to pull down this accessories bag in which you can find some manuals, additional screws, zip ties for the cables, standoffs for the motherboard and a plate for the expansion slots. The insides of the Neos hides two 5.25" bays, which are equipped with a completely toolless installation design. Although it seems like the top bay could be used, it can't, as there is no third slot on the front mesh and also that space is occupied by the electronics of the front panel. Just beneath the 5.25" bay, you can find 6 additional 2.5 and 3.5" storage bays, 3 of each. Both cages are fixed and non-removable or configurable, but the good thing is that the 2.5" bay is on the top of the bottom 3.5" bay, so you get more clearance for longer graphics card. The 3.5" plastic tray slides out easily from the bay, and as they are also equipped with the toolless design, you can install a hard drive in no time by expanding it like this. As for the installation of the 2.5" drives in the bay, you'll have to use screws if you want to get them fixed in one place. Going down from the top right corner, you can see all the necessary case cable connectors for the front panel, nicely sleeved in these black rubberized cables, starting from the USB 3 header to some other usual stuff like the power on, reset and LED connectors. As we touch the topic of cables, we can address the cable management capabilities of the Neos. BitFenix made sure that there is enough number of cutouts, as well as placing them in an appropriate and more accessible way. Of course, there is a large cutout in the motherboard tray for easy CPU cooler access in case if you need to change it without pulling the motherboard off. The back side of the case accommodates enough space for easy cable routing, as well as some holes for tying up the cables in the tidiest manner possible. The only pre-installed fan is positioned on the back, and that is a BitFenix 120mm brushless PWM fan model. Back of the case is pretty standard looking. Here you will come across with 2 rubber holes for the potential tube routing of the water cooling, 7 expansion slots with a plastic cover for hiding the screws that hold the PCI cards, and of course on the bottom the space for the power supply. That dedicated spot for the power supply has 4 metal standoffs for better airflow clearance, as well as a dust filter on the opposite side, which is removable for easier access and cleaning of it. Bottom side of the case hides 4 plastic feet that give the Neos better surface stability and a chance to intake more cold air from the bottom. If you take a closer look from the inside of the case towards the mesh, or even from the outside of the case, you can clearly see 2 dedicated installation spots for the front intake fan, consisting of 2 120mm optional fans. The mesh is easily pulled off from its bottom side just by pulling it out, like with the most of the cases. Now it's much easier to see those two mentioned fence points on the mesh. Top side has a cutout as the front panel doesn't come with a mask, which is actually a great and rarely seen implementation, as you don't have to deal with pulling the cables out if you want to take down the front mask of the case. The front two slots for the 5¼ each bay is easily pulled out just by taking the latches off their sides. All the mesh holes are padded with foam so you don't get dust inside of the case, and as a bonus you'll also get a little bit of acoustic isolation. Just under the front mask of the case you will come across an easily removable fan filter with mesh, which is actually also serving the purpose of a fan installation spot. So basically yes, you'll need to install your fans directly onto it if you're planning to intake some cool air from the front bottom side of the case. Very interesting, and in the end a more practical way of installing and implementing fans with dust filters in one move, so to speak. Just as we said at the beginning of the video, the BitFenix Neos comes in two different versions, with and without the Windows side panel. BitFenix was kind enough to also send a separately packed Windows side panel for the Neos, so we can take a closer look on how it fits to the whole design. The side panel comes packed in a thin cardboard box, in which you will find the side panel wrapped around in a bubble wrap and windows sheeted and covered with plastic foil for scratch protection. Once out of the box, we've switched up the side panels, and as you can see, the window version of it looks quite nice on Neos. The see-through portion of the window covers majority of case insides, focusing more on motherboard and bottom part of the case, while covering the storage compartments. In case you were wondering, you can separately buy the windowed side panel if you decide to change your look of Neos case down the road, or vice versa if you already bought a windowed version of the case. Thank you guys once again for checking out our unboxing and review of the BitFenix Neos case. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up if you liked our video, leave a comment if you have any questions about the product, and of course subscribe to our TechTick YouTube channel for more content like this, or you can just check out our other videos from before.